Ever feel like your mind's stuck in a gloomy fog? Like no matter what you do, those pesky negative thoughts just won't leave you alone? Well, get ready for a game changer. Louise Hay's 5 best exercises can completely transform how you think and feel. But here's the kicker. It's not about using fancy tricks or forcing yourself to be happy. Nope. These exercises work their magic by gently shifting how you see yourself and the world around you. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that suddenly make everything clearer and brighter. Now, you might be thinking, do I really need to bother with this stuff? Here's the deal. If you don't give these exercises a try, those negative thoughts might just keep piling up. They could end up dragging you down, making you feel stuck or even hopeless. But flip that coin, and you've got something pretty amazing. If you do use these exercises, you could find yourself feeling happier, more positive, and way more in control of your life. It's like planting seeds of positivity in your mind and watching them grow into a beautiful garden of good thoughts. Before we dive into the exercises, let's talk about the amazing woman behind them, Louise Hay. Born in 1926, Louise didn't have an easy start in life. She faced some tough times, including abuse and poverty. But instead of letting those experiences break her, she used them as fuel to grow and help others. Louise became a big name in the self-help world. She wrote books, gave talks, and taught people how to love themselves and live better lives. Her most famous book, You Can Heal Your Life, has sold millions of copies all over the world. Louise believed that our thoughts shape our lives, and that by changing how we think, we can change everything else. What made Louise special was how she took big ideas about positive thinking and made them super easy for anyone to use. She didn't use complicated words or hard-to-understand theories. Instead, she created simple exercises and affirmations, positive statements you repeat to yourself that anyone could do, no matter their background. Louise passed away in 2017, but her wisdom lives on. The exercises we're about to explore are some of her best. They've helped countless people turn their lives around, and now they can help you too. Let's kick things off with one of Louise's all-time favorite exercises, mirror work. Now, don't worry, this isn't about checking your hair or fixing your makeup. It's way more powerful than that. Here's how it works. You stand in front of a mirror, look yourself right in the eyes, and say something positive to yourself. It might feel a bit weird at first, but stick with me here. Louise believed that the mirror reflects back our innermost thoughts and feelings about ourselves. By facing ourselves and speaking kindly, we can start to heal old hurts and build up our self-love. Find a mirror. Any mirror will do, but if you can, use one where you can see your whole face clearly. Look into your own eyes. Really focus on making eye contact with yourself. Say something positive. It could be as simple as I love and accept you, or you're doing a great job. The key is to make it genuinely kind and supportive. Notice how you feel. Do you feel uncomfortable? Emotional? Skeptical? Whatever comes up, just notice it without judgment. Keep at it. Try doing this for a few minutes each day, gradually increasing the time as you get more comfortable. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would talking to myself in a mirror make any difference? Well, there's actually some pretty cool science behind it. When we look into our own eyes, it activates parts of our brain linked to self-awareness and emotional processing. By pairing that with positive words, we're basically rewiring our brains to be kinder to ourselves. But beyond the science, there's something really powerful about facing yourself head-on. We spend so much time looking at other people, judging them, comparing ourselves. But how often do we really look at ourselves with kindness? Mirror work forces us to do just that. Louise often shared stories of people who found mirror work life-changing. One woman, who had always hated her appearance, found that after a few weeks of mirror work, she could finally look at herself with love and acceptance. Another man used mirror work to boost his confidence before big meetings, and found his career taking off as a result. Of course, it might feel a bit silly or uncomfortable at first. That's totally normal. Louise used to say that if you feel resistance, that's actually a good sign. It means you're pushing up against old beliefs that need changing. The key is to keep at it, even if it feels strange. You can start small. Maybe just look in the mirror and smile at yourself. Or pick one small thing you like about yourself and compliment it. As you get more comfortable, you can start adding more positive statements. Some people even like to write their affirmations on sticky notes and put them around their mirror as reminders. Remember, the goal isn't to force yourself to believe things you don't. It's about creating a kinder, more supportive inner voice. Over time, as you practice looking at yourself with love and saying kind things, you might find that your whole outlook starts to shift. You might catch yourself being kinder in your thoughts throughout the day or feeling more confident in tough situations. Mirror work isn't a quick fix, but it's a powerful tool for gradually changing how you see yourself. And as Louise always said, when you change how you see yourself, you change how you see the whole world. Now that we've warmed up with mirror work, let's move on to another of Louise Hay's favorite tools, affirmations. You've probably heard this word before, but what exactly are affirmations? And why did Louise think they were so important? Simply put, an affirmation is a positive statement that you repeat to yourself. It's like planting a seed of a new belief in your mind. Louise believed that many of our problems come from negative thoughts and beliefs we've picked up over the years. Affirmations are a way to replace those negative thoughts with positive ones. Choose an area of your life you want to improve. It could be your health, your relationships, your career, anything that matters to you. Write a positive statement about it in the present tense. For example, if you want to improve your health, you might say, I am healthy and full of energy. Make it personal. Use I or my to make it about you. Keep it positive. Instead of, I don't want to be sick, say, I am healthy. Repeat your affirmation often. Say it out loud, write it down, or even sing it. Now, you might be thinking, how can just saying something make it true? Well, it's not about magically changing reality overnight. It's about gradually shifting your mindset. When we repeat positive statements, we're training our brains to focus on the positive rather than the negative. Think about it this way. Have you ever bought a new car and suddenly you start seeing that same car everywhere? Your car didn't magically multiply. You just started noticing it more. Affirmations work in a similar way. When you start affirming that you're confident, for example, you might start noticing more moments when you do feel confident. Louise had some favorite affirmations that she recommended to everyone. Things like, I love and approve of myself. I am willing to change and grow. All is well in my world. But she also encouraged people to create affirmations that felt right for them. The key is to choose statements that feel good when you say them, even if you don't fully believe them yet. Now, let's be real. When you first start using affirmations, it might feel a bit fake. You might think, I'm saying I'm confident, but I don't feel confident at all. That's okay. Louise used to say that affirmations are like planting seeds. When you plant a seed, you don't see the plant right away. But if you keep watering it and giving it sunlight, eventually it grows. One of Louise's clients, a woman who had always struggled with her weight, started using the affirmation, I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. At first, she felt like she was lying to herself, but she kept at it, saying it every morning and evening. After a few weeks, she noticed she was being kinder to herself in her thoughts. After a few months, she found she was naturally making healthier choices, not out of self-hate, but out of self-love. You can use affirmations in lots of different ways. Some people like to write them in a journal every morning. Others put them on sticky notes around their house or office. You can even set reminders on your phone to pop up with your affirmations throughout the day. One fun way to use affirmations is to combine them with the mirror work we talked about earlier. Stand in front of the mirror and say your affirmations out loud while looking into your own eyes. It might feel a bit strange at first, but it can be a really powerful way to reinforce positive beliefs about yourself. Remember, the goal isn't to ignore problems or pretend everything is perfect. It's about creating a more positive, supportive mindset that can help you deal with life's challenges. As Louise often said, you've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. Now that we've explored mirror work and affirmations, let's dive into another powerful tool from Louise Hay's toolkit, gratitude practice. This might sound simple, but don't let that fool you. Gratitude can be a real game changer when it comes to shifting your mindset. So, what exactly is a gratitude practice? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like, regularly taking time to focus on and appreciate the good things in your life. Louise believed that what we focus on grows, so by focusing on what we're grateful for, we can actually increase the amount of positivity in our lives. Set aside a specific time each day for gratitude. Many people like to do this first thing in the morning or right before bed. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. They can be big things, like your health or your family, or small things, like a delicious cup of coffee or a beautiful sunset. Really feel the gratitude. Don't just list things off. Take a moment to truly appreciate each one. Write it down. Louise was a big fan of journaling, and writing down your gratitudes can make them feel more real and impactful. Mix it up. Try to think of different things each day to keep your practice fresh. Now, you might be wondering, why bother with this? Isn't it just stating the obvious? Well, here's the thing. Our brains are actually wired to focus on the negative. It's a survival mechanism from way back when we had to be constantly on the lookout for danger. But in today's world, this tendency can leave us feeling stressed and unhappy. Gratitude practice is like a workout for the positive parts of your brain. The more you practice noticing and appreciating good things, the easier it becomes. Over time, you might find yourself naturally noticing more positive things throughout your day. Louise often shared stories of how gratitude changed people's lives. One man, who was going through a tough divorce, started writing down 3 things he was grateful for each night. At first, he struggled to think of anything, but as he kept at it, he found more and more to be grateful for. After a few months, he realized his whole outlook had shifted. He was handling the divorce with more grace and even starting to see opportunities for growth. You don't have to limit your gratitude practice to just listing things either. Louise suggested lots of fun ways to incorporate gratitude into your day. Gratitude walk. Take a walk and silently thank everything you see that you appreciate. The trees, the sky, the flowers, even the sidewalk for giving you a safe place to walk. Gratitude letters. Write a letter to someone telling them all the things you appreciate about them. You don't even have to send it. Just writing it can be powerful. Gratitude jar. Every time something good happens, write it on a slip of paper and put it in a jar. When you're feeling down, pull out a few slips and remind yourself of the good things in your life. Gratitude partner. Team up with a friend and text each other one thing you're grateful for each day. One important thing to remember about gratitude practice is that it's not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about balancing our natural tendency to focus on the negative by intentionally noticing the positive. Even on really tough days, there's usually something to be grateful for, even if it's as simple as, "I'm grateful I made it through this day." Louise believed that gratitude could even help with physical healing. She often told the story of a woman with chronic pain who started saying thank you to her body for all the parts that weren't in pain. Over time, she found her pain levels decreasing and her overall health improving. Of course, gratitude isn't a magic cure-all, but it can be a powerful tool for shifting your perspective and increasing your overall sense of well-being. As Louise used to say, when we create peace and harmony and balance in our minds, we will find it in our lives. So, why not give it a try? Start small. Maybe just think of one thing you're grateful for before you go to sleep tonight. You might be surprised at how much of a difference a little gratitude can make. Let's move on to one of Louise Hay's most powerful tools, forgiveness work. Now, don't worry. This isn't about excusing bad behavior or pretending everything's okay when it's not. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of anger and resentment. Louise believed that holding on to grudges was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. Forgiveness work is all about letting go of that poison and finding peace for yourself. Identify who you need to forgive. It might be someone else, or it might even be yourself. Write a letter to that person. You don't have to send it. This is just for you. Express your feelings honestly. Write down all the hurt, anger, and disappointment you've been carrying. Then, try to see things from their perspective. Louise often said, "People do the best they can with the understanding, awareness, and knowledge they have." End the letter with a statement of forgiveness. It might be something like, "I forgive you," and I release you. Burn or tear up the letter as a symbolic act of letting go. Now, you might be thinking, but they don't deserve forgiveness. Here's the thing, forgiveness isn't about them. It's about freeing yourself from the negative emotions that are holding you back. Louise often shared a story about a woman who had been abused as a child. She carried anger and resentment for years, and it affected every part of her life. Through forgiveness work, she was able to let go of that anger. She didn't excuse what had happened, but she freed herself from the emotional burden she'd been carrying. Remember, forgiveness is a process. It might not happen overnight, and that's okay. The important thing is to start the journey. As Louise used to say, the point of power is always in the present moment. Every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, you're reclaiming your power. Now, let's talk about something that many of us struggle with, loving our bodies. Louise Hay was a big believer in the connection between our thoughts and our physical health. She created this exercise to help people develop a more loving relationship with their bodies. Stand in front of a mirror. Yes, we're back to mirror work. Look at each part of your body and say something positive about it. For example, I love my eyes. They help me see the beautiful world around me. If you find it hard to say something positive about a part of your body, thank it for its function. I thank my legs for carrying me through my day. Pay special attention to any parts of your body you've criticized in the past. These areas need extra love. End by hugging yourself and saying, I love and accept my body exactly as it is. You might feel silly doing this at first, but stick with it. Louise believed that many physical issues stem from negative thoughts we hold about our bodies. By changing those thoughts, we can support our body's natural healing abilities. One of Louise's clients had struggled with weight issues all her life. She started doing this body love exercise every day. At first, she could barely look at herself in the mirror. But as she kept practicing, she found herself naturally making healthier choices, not out of self-hatred, but out of love for her body. Remember, this isn't about ignoring health issues or avoiding medical care. It's about creating a loving, supportive relationship with your body. As Louise often said, your body is always listening to your thoughts. Now that we've gone through all 5 exercises, you might be wondering how to fit them all into your life. Don't worry, you don't have to do everything at once. Start with the exercise that resonates with you most and gradually add the others. I remember when I first started using these exercises. I was going through a tough time, stressed at work, struggling with self-doubt, and always feeling tired. I decided to start with affirmations. Every morning, I'd look in the mirror and say, I am capable and confident. I handle my work with ease. At first, it felt fake. I'd say the words but not believe them. But I kept at it, and after a few weeks, I noticed something changing. I was speaking up more in meetings. I was handling challenges with more calm. It wasn't a magical overnight transformation, but a gradual shift in how I saw myself. Encouraged by this, I added the gratitude practice. Each night before bed, I'd write down 3 things I was grateful for. Some days, when things were really tough, I'd be grateful for simple things like a warm cup of tea or a comfortable bed. Other days, I'd feel overwhelmed with gratitude for my friends, my health, my job. The forgiveness work was the hardest for me. I had been holding on to some old hurts from my childhood. Writing those letters of forgiveness felt impossible at first, but as I worked through it, I felt like I was putting down a heavy weight I'd been carrying for years. As I practiced these exercises, I noticed changes in all areas of my life. My relationships improved as I became more positive and forgiving. My health got better as I learned to love and appreciate my body. Even my career took an upswing as my newfound confidence shone through in my work. But the biggest change was in how I felt day to day. I used to wake up dreading the day ahead. Now, I wake up excited about what the day might bring. Sure, I still have bad days and challenges, but now I have tools to help me navigate them. Louise Hay always said that change doesn't happen overnight. It's about small, consistent steps in the right direction. Some days, all I can manage is a quick thank you to my body as I brush my teeth. Other days, I spend an hour journaling and doing mirror work. It's all progress. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all these exercises, remember this. Start small. Maybe just smile at yourself in the mirror tomorrow morning. Or write down one thing you're grateful for before bed. These small acts can be the first steps on a journey to a more positive, loving relationship with yourself and the world around you. As you practice these exercises, be patient and kind with yourself. Some days will be easier than others. That's okay. The important thing is to keep coming back to these practices, even if you miss a day or two. Remember, these exercises aren't about forcing yourself to be happy all the time or ignoring real problems in your life. They're tools to help you approach life's challenges from a place of self-love and positivity. They're about changing your inner dialogue from criticism to support, from fear to love. Louise Hay's work has helped millions of people around the world, including me. Her exercises might seem simple, but they have the power to create profound changes in how we think, feel, and live. Give them a try. You might be surprised at how much of a difference they can make in your life. Now that we've explored all 5 of Louise Hay's best exercises, you might be wondering how to incorporate them into your daily life. Don't worry, you don't need to do everything at once. The key is to start small and build up gradually. When I first discovered these exercises, I was going through a really tough time. I felt stuck in my job, my relationships were strained, and I was constantly battling negative thoughts. I decided to give Louise's methods a try, starting with just one exercise, affirmations. Every morning, I'd look in the mirror and say, I am worthy of love and respect. I attract positive experiences into my life. At first, it felt weird and uncomfortable. I didn't believe the words I was saying, but I kept at it, day after day. After a few weeks, I started to notice small changes. I was standing a little taller at work. I was speaking up more in meetings. When negative thoughts popped up, I found myself challenging them instead of just accepting them. Encouraged by these small wins, I decided to add the gratitude practice to my routine. Every night before bed, I'd write down 3 things I was grateful for. Some days, when things were really tough, I'd be grateful for simple things like a warm cup of coffee or a comfortable bed. Other days, I'd feel overwhelmed with gratitude for my friends, my health, my home. The forgiveness work was the hardest for me. I had been holding on to some old hurts from past relationships. Writing those letters of forgiveness felt impossible at first, but as I worked through it, I felt like I was putting down a heavy weight I'd been carrying for years. It didn't happen overnight, but gradually, I felt lighter and freer. As I practiced these exercises, I noticed changes in all areas of my life. My relationships improved as I became more positive and forgiving. My health got better as I learned to love and appreciate my body. Even my career took an upswing as my newfound confidence shone through in my work. But the biggest change was in how I felt day to day. I used to wake up dreading what lay ahead. Now, I wake up curious and excited about what the day might bring. Sure, I still have bad days and face challenges, but now I have tools to help me navigate them. Louise Hay always said that change doesn't happen overnight. It's about small, consistent steps in the right direction. Some days, all I can manage is a quick thank you to my body as I brush my teeth. Other days, I spend an hour journaling and doing mirror work. It's all progress. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all these exercises, remember this. Start small. Maybe just smile at yourself in the mirror tomorrow morning. Or write down one thing you're grateful for before bed. These small acts can be the first steps on a journey to a more positive, loving relationship with yourself and the world around you. As we wrap up our exploration of Louise Hay's 5 best exercises for a positive mindset, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We started with mirror work, a powerful tool for building self-love and acceptance. Then we moved on to affirmations, those positive statements that can gradually reshape our thoughts and beliefs. We explored the transformative power of gratitude, learning how focusing on what we're thankful for can shift our entire perspective. We delved into forgiveness work, discovering how letting go of resentment can free us from emotional burdens we've carried for far too long. And finally, we learned about loving our bodies, an exercise that can dramatically improve our relationship with ourselves and our physical health. These exercises might seem simple, but don't let that fool you. They have the power to create profound changes in how we think, feel, and live. They're not about forcing ourselves to be happy all the time or ignoring real problems in our lives. Instead, they're tools to help us approach life's challenges from a place of self-love and positivity. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It's about small, consistent steps in the right direction. Be patient and kind with yourself as you start to incorporate these exercises into your life. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep coming back to these practices, even if you miss a day or two. Louise Hay's work has helped millions of people around the world find more joy, peace, and self-love in their lives. Her exercises offer a path to transforming our inner dialogue from criticism to support, from fear to love. They remind us that we have the power to shape our thoughts, and through our thoughts, to shape our lives. So why not give these exercises a try? Start small, with just one exercise that resonates with you. Maybe look in the mirror tomorrow morning and say something kind to yourself. Or write down 3 things you're grateful for before you go to bed tonight. You might be surprised at how much of a difference these small acts can make. Remember, as Louise Hay often said, you have the power to heal your life, and you need to know that. We think so often that we are helpless, but we're not. We always have the power of our minds. Claim and consciously use your power. Here's to your journey towards a more positive mindset. May these exercises bring you more joy, peace, and self-love in your life. You deserve it.